Welcome back, everyone, to the Cetacean Summit. I am super excited to have our next presenter with me, Takara Shalor. Welcome, Takara.
Hi, great to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you here. So let me share a little bit about you with everyone so he can learn how wonderful you are. So Takara is best known for helping authors become bestsellers and individuals ignite their intuitive gifts and experience profound personal transformation so they can achieve their dreams. No, you're not up to anything small, are you? Just, I love that. For over 3 decades, she's helped thousands of people from over 100 countries discover the diamonds and gold within, their unique gifts and talents, their passion, their purpose, and their joy. She's the 4-time best-selling author of Peering Through the Veil, the step-by-step guide to meditation and inner peace, co-author of Unleash Your Future, endorsed by Jack Canfield, creator, manager, and contributing author to Dolphins and Whales Forever, which I am one. I have a chapter in there. So that's a fun book. You should all check that book out if you haven't already. And contributing author of Extraordinary Teams and Earth 2012 through 33, Oracles of the Sea. She is known by many names: the Dolphin One, Chalice of Divine Frequencies, and Spiritual Treasure Hunter. That sounds fun. She channels energies and information from a vast array of dimensions, teaches many advanced energy healing techniques, and has her own line of life-changing dolphin healing energy-infused products called Dancing Dolphin Essences that I know has been endorsed by many amazing, powerful people. At every equinox for the past 23 years, she has co-led with world-famous oracle David J. Adams from Australia a global meditation to connect with dolphin and whale consciousness and heal the waters of our planet. Something that you and I hold very dear and vital to our own survival, all of ours. A highly accomplished polymath, she's done a bit of everything. Single-handedly running the internet department of a thriving Nissan dealership, homeschooling her son all 12 years, that's amazing. Living on a $1 million yacht in Fiji and the South Pacific, owning and managing a shamanic healing center in Santa Fe, New Mexico, winning awards of excellence for managing multi-million-dollar projects in the corporate world, which seems so far from what we're talking about today, right? And leaving her industrial engineering management career to move to an island and start a nonprofit for dolphins and whales. That's near and dear to our heart. When she's not helping people move through the drama of their past to step boldly into their future, she's swimming with wild dolphins somewhere in the tropics or hiking in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. So it's as you now know from hearing that amazing bio, we are graced and blessed with your presence here, Takara. And today we're going to talk all about dolphin angels and transformation. But let's start, even before we dive into that subject, let's talk about your connection with the dolphins, because obviously they've been a major part of your life for a long time.
Right.
And so how did all of that begin?
It all began being that engineer that I was, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working in the corporate world. I was the only female manager. It was a massively stressful job. And I just had, I just went over the edge. Like literally I hit the edge and then I went over the edge.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning, I wasn't feeling well. And I found myself lying in the fetal position in the middle of the floor, crying profusely because I was having flashbacks of being raped. So it happened when I was 18. But the memory surfaced when I was 33. So there was this 15-year window where I was in denial. I knew it happened, but I didn't think it was a big deal because it was all, I boxed it all away. I was really good at that. But the stress of the job meant that I couldn't I couldn't handle the stress and keep the lid on all these emotions that I'd been putting lids on, right? So it all came spilling out and the memories surfaced. And so one of the things that happened is as soon as all this happened, I started getting professional help, psychologists or whatever. I felt this intuitive prompting to go to a New Age bookstore. And I started seeing energy healers and reading a million things I knew nothing about. It was like it opened this world to me, right? But I was guided to start seeing this woman who did energy healing, and she did tons of other things, right? But right away, she recommended meditation. Right. And so as soon as I learned meditation, as soon as I started doing meditations, dolphins started appearing in my meditations every time I closed my eyes to do meditation. And they would just, at first I could just see them frolicking, and then I could see them spinning through the water. And then it was me belly to belly with them, and they were torpedoing me through the water. And what happened when that happened is I was crying like a mad woman, right? All these tears because I was releasing and shedding they were doing massive emotional healing with me. But they were also like bringing this energy through, which I now embody and I now radiate, right? So like I became this channel for that healing that they brought to me. And now I'm like a conduit for other people for that same thing. So very soon after that, the stress was killing me. And I was working in pharmaceuticals, which I had already turned to like healthy organic living. Like it was, I couldn't keep doing that job. I was out of it. Yeah. And so I met a woman. I heard about this amazing orca in Sea Aquarium, Miami, named Lolita, which many people have probably heard of. Her story just touched me so deeply. I can't even tell you. And so I quit the corporate world. I moved to the San Juans where her family lives. Right. And I co-founded this nonprofit for Dolphins and Whales. And then, the rest is kind of all these other things started happening. So it was amazing, but it all began because I had a meltdown, Right.
Well, and as they say, and many times when we have our breakdown, and it's because we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Absolutely. Right? It was a huge one for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I think what you're all about, and me as well, is that in our work, we're trying to prevent people from getting to that place, right?
Absolutely.
Of having that intense breakdown, that it doesn't have to be like,
no.
stress thing. We want to stop you before you get there, right?
Well, exactly. And the dolphin way is so graceful. Yeah. It's so fluid. It's so gentle. It's so nurturing. It's like being wrapped in this, it's like angelic wings come and wrap around you. It's so loving. That's why I love this path. And I that's why this journey in this way is such a better way to do it, right? In this like brick wall, Yeah.
Yeah. And I know for me, and I know you know this as well, that the dolphins teach us that to not avoid and stuff down, resist those emotions, but that when we give ourselves permission to dive deep into them, it actually processes them really quickly. And then you just come back to this joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now, I also know that, you've been connected to the dolphins for a long time now. And I love that you spent time on the San Juan Islands, because that was my backyard when I was a kid. So you and I have that in common. Those southern resident orcas are near and dear to both of us.
Right.
But how does, we hear this term dolphin whisperer, and I know people refer to you as that, and I get that as well. But how does that actually manifest for you?
Well, the way it started manifesting for me initially is once I moved to the San Juans, my whole life was about the orcas. I had stopped everything and I was completely focused on the orcas and the family and the southern residents and all of that. And I was hanging out with other people, the whale museum that you're, part of the contribution from this event is going to support that endeavor. I was hanging out there. I was just, hanging out with those people that are doing all that. And I just developed this, I'm very clairsentient, where I feel and I know, I'm claircognizant and clairsentient. And so I developed this connection with the family of Lolita, like, these Southern residents. I could feel them. I could feel when they were nearby, right? And I would just be in the middle of working on my computer, building a website or doing whatever I was doing. Even back in the day, I was building websites in 1996. Like, that's crazy. But I would be doing whatever I was doing, and this feeling would come over me, and I just knew that they were nearby. And I would stop everything, and I would jump in my car, and I would drive way too fast. I would drive way too fast to the other side of the island, and I would scamper up this hill, and I would sit down, and like 30 orcas would go past. It was just magical. So that's how it began, was me just having a feeling. And then when I moved, I only lived in the San Juans. It was about a year. But to do that project properly, it was too remote. You always had to take a ferry, or you always had to take an airplane, which, that gets a little expensive, right? Yeah. So eventually we moved the operation down to Oceanside, California. And so I was hanging out in Encinitas, my favorite beach, Moonlight Beach. There was Swami Yogananda, right? And so I could go and just sit, and within 5 minutes, the dolphins show up.
Right, nice.
And then once I left there, I got married, I moved to Canada, I did all these other things. I would come back. We would just continuously come back to San Diego, and we would always go to Encinitas. I always went to Moonlight Beach. That's just what I did. From driving in New Mexico, we would drive straight to Moonlight Beach. Like, we didn't stop anywhere else. We would just go. And I would land on the beach, and they would show up, But while I was there one time, there was a bunch of friends that we'd gathered from, because I used to live down there. So, I called my friends, and we were all eating at this lovely restaurant. And you could see the ocean across a road, but my back was to the ocean. I was not facing the ocean because, it was kind of like I couldn't see through the glass to see the ocean anyway. So my back was to the thing, but I had that feeling come over me again. And so I just looked up at the table, which was full of people, and my back was to the ocean. And I said, they're here. And they're all looking at me like, what do you mean? I was like, dolphins are here now. And so I got up, and they all followed me like little ducks. And they were, all the dolphins were coming by and stuff.
So, nice.
So it's just, that's how the connection that I have with them is, I've spent a lot more time with them in meditation and connecting and communing, not near the water, than I have actually with them live. Like you, I know you've spent tons of times with, dolphins and whales and everything actually in the water. I've had far less actual ocean experience or being, onshore seeing them. I mean, I've done it, but, not that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that you share that, Takara, because I think that's a really important point for us to talk about, in that the people, the audience, those of you who are watching and with us today, you may be landlocked. You may be in a situation where you just don't have the opportunity to go out on the water, the funds or the location, whatever it is your limitation is. And not everybody lives 3 blocks from the ocean like I do right now, right? And so let's talk about, because I believe, and I'm sure you do too, that actually there are so many benefits, and sometimes it's an even more powerful connection sitting on your bed meditating than, because I've had more powerful in-depth wisdom that I've received and healing that I've received when I'm in meditation with them than when I'm actually swimming with them. That's amazing, and I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And I was communing with them, the dolphins. I mean, I moved to the San Juans. I was connecting with orcas, but I didn't see dolphins. I didn't swim with them. I didn't go on a dolphin trip to swim with them for 10 years.
Wow.
After I woke up spiritually until the time I actually got in the water with them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was a profound experience. Time stopped and all that stuff that can happen underwater. But that was definitely, like you're saying, it was a profound moment, but it was just this fleeting moment. The times that have been the most profound, the most impactful are these, when there's this downpour, when you're in a deep meditation and you're you're connecting, like you said. That's when all the major transformational stuff has happened for me, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I could not agree with that more. So those of you who are watching this, don't feel like you're missing out if you cannot get out on the water.
Exactly.
At all, because you can sit there in your own home, no matter, and you can, once you get comfortable and practice with this, it doesn't matter what's going on around you, right? You can just turn that off and set the intention that any distraction just brings you deeper into connection. Right. So Takara, if you wouldn't mind, if you have any tips or any wisdom to share about helping people to make that connection on their own, in their own homes.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've mentioned it a few times. We've said that word meditation, right? So that's one of the ways I highly recommend. I'm pretty sure everybody that's on here gets my free gift, right? And my free gift, there is a guided meditation inside. So you just follow along what I say and you get to connect, right? In fact, that little free gift introduces you to your own individual dolphin guide. Like you get to meet your own dolphin guide. So it's really fun. So I have several recommendations. One is like you're going to create a sanctuary kind of environment, right? A sacred space, a quiet, contemplative, so there's ways to do that, like a candle, or, some people like to burn incense. So I've got opinions about both of those things. One of them is like, I'm hyper sensitive to energies. So if anything is toxic, I can't get near it at all. Okay. So when it comes to candles, I use electric ones that are battery powered, that you use rechargeable batteries in. Okay, so you get the flickering flame. I've had a whole communication with the angels, and because whenever you light a candle, you're calling in angels, and so I've had this communication. It was like, does it matter if it's an actual candle, or is it okay if it's this? And it's like, no, it's about the intention, and you're turning on light. You're saying illuminate. We're making this a safe and sacred space, and I want to turn off all that's going on out here. And I want to focus more on inner wisdom. I want to focus more on receiving higher wisdom. So I'm holding this little orca. I'm sure if you see my hand, it's like I'm holding this baby little orca. And that's why my hand looks funny when I keep putting my hand up and do this thing. Anyway, it's like, that's got to look weird. I just thought I'd tell you what's happening. Anyway.
But I love that you have it with you. That's fun.
Yeah, well, it sits on my desk all the time. But there's, I always, when I'm doing an interview or I'm bringing in information or writing or whatever, I tend to pick up crystals and hold things in my receptive hand, which is always your non-dominant hand, for those that don't know that. And so, yeah, this felt really appropriate for this conversation.
Of course.
Was my little orca guy. Anyway, where was I? So I was talking about setting sacred space. So yes, so I prefer, like if you're going to use an actual candle, regular paraffin and all that is actually very toxic, right? So there's soy candles, which mess with your hormones, which I don't really like those either. I'm a beeswax girl. If you're going to do candles, do beeswax, or do what I do, which is, the rechargeable batteries in a dollar store little candle thing, right? Crazy. I have them all over my home. Flip them on when I need to. Okay. You want to pictures of dolphins or whales or both really make a difference. I mean, if when we did that book together, I had this idea and I invited specific people, and different people joined into that collaboration. Roberta Goodman and I went across the country and met a lot of people. And because you lived on an island at the time, we didn't get to hang out with you.
Yeah, we didn't get to come to Panama.
We didn't get to hang out for that. But, I was hanging out with all these people that are super dolphin connected and whale connected, Lori Rayon and Cindy Lepori and, Mary Getton and all these people, right? Every single one of them, their home is full of dolphins on the wall and whales on the wall, and and like statues and and I've got all the same stuff all around my office, all these things. We're not idolizing them for anybody that's not cool with, right? Right. Yeah, I was gonna reach up and look. You got a whale. I've got these two dolphins that I hand painted. I do have to show you this. So I'm going to
Okay.
show you this thing. Hopefully you can see it. These whales, these
Ooh.
dolphins, I hand painted this.
Oh my gosh.
And I did it when I lived in Canada, which means it was 1998. And it's traveled with me all over, you know, I lived in Canada, I lived in America, like, it's crazy, but like I carry them everywhere.
Oh, they're
And now they
beautiful.
sit on my desk. But yeah, I mean, we all have these things, but we are not, you know, for anybody that's heard that it's not okay to have idols, right?
Right.
That's not what we're doing.
Right.
We're not
No.
idolizing this, right? We are using it to remind ourselves of our friends with fins, right? They're our friends with fins, and they bring us joy. And when we think of them, when we connect with them, when we see their picture, when we look at a statue of them, we instantly, it's a way to connect. It's a way to open your heart, feel this connection with what I'd call dolphin consciousness or dolphin angelic consciousness. They're the angels of the sea. And the ones that I work with are an incredibly high vibration, right? They're actually dolphin angels. And so, so we have these things, and you don't have to pay a lot of money. Heck, you can go and do a search. If you have a printer, you can print out a picture. If you're using it for your own personal use, it's okay, right? And hopefully that's true. Anyway,
I think but
I mean, you can get a card at a card shop that has a dolphin on it, right? It doesn't cost much money. You know, some people go and have these amazing things done, and like this necklace that I purchased ages ago, and like your whale tail, like these are special pieces that we have. And yeah, we paid a pretty penny for them, right? But that wasn't what we did right away. We didn't do that right away. This was after they took over our lives, right? They took our lives over. And we were like, yeah, we're here in service. We're here to help people. We're here to help them heal. We're, you know, because dolphins and whales, the energy, I mean, okay, whales' energy is very different. Dolphin and orca, I'll just tell you about the three. Dolphins are emotional healers, okay? Dolphins, when they show up, they bring us nurturing, they bring us emotional healing, they bring us insight, okay? But it's usually about our own spiritual evolution, our healing the trauma drama from our past, healing the wounded parts of ourselves, right? Dolphins are amazing at that, and they help us bring out joy, okay? And remember our joy and connect to joy and all that, right? Then you go to the orca. That is a whole other energy.
Oh,
I mean, that is like, back off, man. Like, orcas, I love that I can sort of see this. I'm looking at back.
I do too.
I love this little, okay, hi. Okay. Anyway, so orcas are all about, it's power. It's about empowerment. Like when they reach, when they like completely fly out of the air, I mean, the energy is so powerful, it blows you backwards. There's an intensity. And they're like the wolves of the ocean. They are the top of the food chain. They take down whales. Sadly, it's the truth. You know, they're powerful beings. And so they're powerful protectors. They're great to call in if you're feeling vulnerable, but they're also great for getting empowerment and remembering who you are and improving your self-esteem and finding courage and all those great things. Whales, you know, blue whales and humpbacks and all these guys, they all, each of them have their own unique thing. And I'm less of a whale person. I am a whale person, but I'm less of that than these others, right? But whales are all about deep wisdom and Akashic records and remembering all these things and deep, profound wisdom, you know? And I'm sure you have a lot more to say about whale wisdom than, you know, my experience is somewhat limited. You know, I connect to them. Today I put on a whale essence that I've created. So I do have this connection, but it's not nearly to the depth and extensiveness as the orcas and the dolphins. Yeah. So I was telling, sorry, I got on a crazy tangent. So,
it's okay. It's all good.
So pictures of them and having a sacred place, quiet space with the candles. Okay, another really great thing is to listen to Dolphins and Whales on the stereo. So again, when I was coming across the country, you know, like Lori Rayon is the world's best, in my opinion. Like the second she wakes up in the morning, you're hearing whale sounds in her house. Okay. That is, I mean, that's just the deal. And, you know, I listen to dolphin sounds and we all do at some point. But even if you don't have recordings, YouTube has a million.
Yes.
A million. And some of them even have like recordings where you see underwater visuals of dolphins or whales or both, and these beautiful sounds with some music and stuff. So like if you have an internet connection, you can really deeply do the visual and the auditory thing with them. And once you have sort of that connection going, I think it's great to just close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, really dropping your attention onto your heart space, finding something that you're grateful for, and then just ask for dolphin consciousness or ask for orca consciousness or ask for whale consciousness to come in. And, you know, you might get a flash of an image, or you might hear their tone, or you might just have this feeling come over you. And it takes being quiet, and it takes, you know, sometimes listening to water, like the sound of the ocean, or listening to even river sounds. Like I love to hear water tumbling over rocks. Like that is just, I could listen to that all day and I need to do nothing. I just stare like I am a happy clam if I'm listening to the sound of water. But I'm Pisces, right? And so it's all, that's my element. And so I really connect to it. But it's another great thing to do, you know, is to have the water sound, and you just tune in and you just ask. And then you can start to journal, and you can even write about, you know, I'd love to connect with dolphin consciousness, right? Or I'd love to connect with my special dolphin friend, or whatever comes to you. You know, there's no right or wrong. And as you write that and you start to get impressions, you just write whatever comes. And the more you do it, the more that will come, you know, it just, that's how it works. Yeah.
Beautiful. Those are all great suggestions. And I agree with all of them. And it is, and it's all about just throwing away your expectations and just trust and just go with it. And the more you practice, the easier it will be. And it is true. The more you surround yourself with pictures, and even if like while you're eating breakfast in the morning or having your morning coffee, just put on watch videos on YouTube of dolphins or whales, and it will just start. And I remember when I was first kind of waking up spiritually to the dolphins and whales and opening my connection with them, was that I would do that every morning, would watch YouTube videos until like, I don't remember how long it was a couple weeks or a month or two later that I was like realizing that I was feeling their presence.
Yeah. Exactly. The other thing that it just occurred to me is, you know, you can do it on your phone.
Yeah.
You can do it on your phone, and you do feel that being enveloped by that energy. Right. Yeah. But the other thing I want to say is, no matter where you are in a spiritual journey, whether you're just checking this out and it sounds interesting or it sounds really strange, because I mean, you know, to the average person, some of the stuff we talk about, and all of the people that are going to be on this summit, every one of us talk about weird stuff, right? Weird in a fabulous way, in my opinion, right? But I come from I was a very left brain logical engineering person that was very like, you know, get it all done and all that. What we're talking about is not that at all. When you get into a spiritual space, when you get into, it's much more experiential, and it's much more, it's not about thinking, it's about feeling, and it's learning to do that and trusting, like you said, it's about trusting that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're sensing, whatever pops in your head is part of it, and it's perfect, right? And it's so. The more left brain, logical, businessy, whatever you are, sometimes the harder that is, especially at first. So give yourself permission to it takes, like they say, you can't just go like this and turn a ship, right? Those really big ships, they turn it a little bit, and then they turn it
Yeah.
a little bit, and they, it takes a while to turn it in a new direction. That's what we're doing. We're going from here to here.
Yeah.
And we're going from, mind, wonder, worry, fear, figuring it out, to trusting and knowing and flowing. And, and it takes a little bit of time. And then eventually we connect them back the other way. We feel it, and then we turn on the logic, and then we're operating from that place all the time. So we're marrying the two, and life just flows, and it's beautiful, and magic happens.
Yeah, it does. I love that. And I also, I want to point out something I've been observing. I love that you have, your little statue with us, because what I was thinking while you were talking was your little statue is a perfect representation of the fact that once you start, if you're here because you love the Dolphins and Whales, you're already feeling the call.
Right.
What that means is the dolphins are already here with you, and they're right there, right next to you, just like your little statue is.
Yeah.
And you may not be aware of it. But if you just imagine that you have your own personal little dolphin spirit guide,
or a really big one behind you, as some of us do. Yeah.
Maybe a whale spirit guide above you, right? That presence is always there. So just imagine that little beautiful little statue you have looking at us represents that dolphin consciousness or whale consciousness that is with you always.
Exactly. And the other thing that the dolphins just inspired me to say, as you were speaking about that, is, different things work for different people, right? So somebody visualizing it here is exactly what they need to do, right? Having a little dolphin here, right? Or talking in their ear, or, going like this and doing their little sonar or whatever they're going to do, right? But for somebody else, the right thing could be to imagine it a really tiny one, right? I have to get it in front of me so you can see this little orca. But if you imagine a dolphin this size or even smaller, you just imagine it and you bring it into your heart. You bring it inside your body, into your heart. And you can either do it like you're actually at your heart chakra area, or you can do it at your high heart, like where the threefold flame would be, or your high heart, either one. But you can imagine this little tiny orca or this little tiny dolphin. I don't think I'd put an orca there. Let's not put an orca there. If you're going to use an orca, if you feel drawn more to orcas, you're going to put it in your solar plexus, because it's your power center. And that's where that's where you would do that. But the heart one, the joy one, the envelop you in loving, divine, feminine, whatever, right? Because dolphins are the messengers of the divine feminine, for those people that don't know that. And so it's all about nurturing. It's all about this motherly, the great goddess, the mother energy. And if that doesn't resonate with you, that is totally fine, but the more I do this, the more that feels resonantly true for me. But you take this little tiny dolphin and see it animated and see it swimming around, and it comes inside of you, and it just does its little bubbles of joy, right? Yeah. It's very playful, and that's a great way. I mean, maybe that just becomes part of your morning routine. It's to look in your heart and see the little dolphin with the little bubbles of joy, and like, okay, this is a great way to start the day. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Thank you, dolphins, for sharing that as well. So we are actually running out of time.
Sure we are.
This has been a beautiful conversation. I love it. Thank you so much. But before we go, you have a free gift that I'd like you to tell us about. And everybody, the link is right below this video to get Takara's gift. So what are you giving us?
All right. So we mentioned it briefly earlier, but it's called Dancing with Dolphins, Awakening. Let me think. Embracing Their Joy. I'm like, what is that name? Okay. Because the dolphin consciousness came in, I get a little, okay.
Yes,
okay.
I get
Turn
it.
on the logical brain again. Okay. So Dancing with Dolphins, Embracing Their Joy. And it's an actual book. And I mean, it's an ebook. It's a PDF download. But I mean, it's involved. It's not like this free one pager. It's like, an actually in-depth thing. I have a whole chapter on different ways to connect with dolphins. Okay. Nice. Working with their energy. There's also a guided meditation in there that, like I said, it connects you with your own dolphin guide so that you can have conversations and ask questions and do all these neat things. And there's also this really amazing, one of the things that I've channeled in, because I channel in all these energy healing tools. A lot of them are dolphin connected or whale or, you know, these different energetics, but it's a technology that is a visualization and some words that you say that clear your whole energy field of disharmonious, noxious energies, and it takes them out. The dolphins do it for you. And then it helps you bring in and infuse in love and joy and peace and whatever else you want to bring in. And it's just really fast and really beautiful. And that's in there as well. So you get a little energy healing, you get a little guided meditation going. It's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to explore and download it myself. So again, to get Takara's Dancing with Dolphins, Embracing Their Joy, just click the link right below this video and it's all yours. You can dance with your own dolphin spirit guide.
Nice.
So,
and
yes.
if they pay for this summit, they're going to get a way cool meditation.
Nice, nice. Yes. So I'm glad you brought that up. That was going to be my next thing to say. So those of you who have paid for the VIP upgrade, one, thank you for doing so, because remember, 10% of what you pay for the upgrade is going directly to the Center for Whale Research to support the conservation and research of our beloved southern resident orca whales, just like Takara and I have spent so much time with. And that if you have not yet upgraded for VIP, you still can. And that button is also below this video. So you can upgrade right now. And Takara is going to take us on a bit of a journey in her 15-minute bonus interview that you have access to as a VIP. So do you want to just give us a quick little tease as to what that's going to be like?
The truth is, I don't know. For real, right. I don't know. They come in, I'm shown a picture, I start describing the picture, and as soon as that picture's done and I'm finished describing it, I'm shown another one. I'm guided through a journey just like the listeners. So truthfully, it's not pre-designed. It's going to come through. That's what we're going to do. But I can tell you this, that the recording behind it, the music that I'll be playing, has real whale sounds and real ocean sounds and beautiful music. And it's a beautiful piece of music that will be accompanying this.
And I totally get it, because it's the same for me. I can have all the intentions in the world of where the meditation's going to go, and then the dolphins or the whales come in and take over. And that's the most powerful one. It's in the moment. It is exactly what those of us who are called to listen and watch that will need to receive. It's in our highest good. So if you would like to take a powerful, transformational shamanic journey led by Takara and the Dolphins or Whales, whoever decides to show up, into the cetacean realm for healing and insight, then join us in our 15-minute bonus interview. And again, that is the VIP upgrade. So I can't wait to take that journey with you. So Takara, before we sign off, do you have any last words of wisdom for us?
Just know that no matter what's happening, there is another way of flow and grace and joy and ease, you know, and the dolphins and the whales can help you experience that in everyday life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's been such a pleasure. We've known each other for a number of years, and we kind of haven't been connected in a while, so it's really, I'm blessed to be reconnected with you again. So thank you for sharing.
It's delightful to be here. I'm honored to do it, and thanks for the invitation. Okay, bye everyone.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being a part of the Cetacean Summit. So many dolphin and whale blessings to you all. Bye for now.